Um, Welcome everybody. The last metabolic recovery session, I wanted to put a twist into this today. And first and foremost, obviously, thanks for taking the time to come here. If you are started that with us, I see a few people that did last time. If you didn't, or let's say you started, but you're not here, remember to provide me all the data that we asked last time. Yeah, we'll dive into deep one more time into your specific situation. Yet, obviously, it's your responsibility to remember anything that we said inside that call, and obviously let me know what the data looks like as a result. Okay, I want to talk about today something that is dearly important in my heart, and obviously it goes up a little bit off the topic of the metabolic recovery the first part, but it's mostly to when I started this thing in online, and it was obviously today, if November comes around, it's gonna have been 24, actually 23. So it's gonna have been the good part of 7 years doing stuff online, and I really feel like being able to have an additional layer of results to people that we don't necessarily know each other on a personal level. Like I'm not necessarily next to you into your own house or into your own neighborhood. Yet I feel like we've been able to touch somehow. We've been able to change lives somehow, and at times much more better than we used to do when we were in the gym. Yet today I want to take responsibility into something that we were actually talking before with Sophie about that, and rightfully so. She said, one thing that I see that maybe could improve, obviously, not only the program, but the way things are framed, is to be able for people to be able to see that video that we did about choices versus decision, and that framing that thing into a commitment. And that is true because for the good part of the first iteration of the program, which was emotional eating, so talking to lady that struggle with emotional eating, finding to the point that we got almost into 100 active clients obviously into a different setup that we have now, only for people to find a place to be very flexible with, and then that flexibility only to be a double sword weapon, meaning like it's flexible until that somebody gets results, but when you don't start seeing results, then people get upset. And that flexibility is almost like saying, I'm going like, we give you flexibility, and then like that's gonna be almost like saying, okay, if I'm too flexible, then I'm not really committing to necessarily whatever I have to do to get the results. And one reason why I started online, and this is something very important to me, is because I see that or better say, the reason I started online with this niche that you all fell into, I guess, if you're here, because you must be a woman close to 40 years old, or even if you're earlier than 40, somebody that struggled with getting results to a degree, was because out there, when you see whether it's online or offline, people or programs basically treat you like you're on your 20s still. Yeah, on the mindset, not only on the mindset, but also on the education part, or on whatever, let's say, you have to do part, meaning like whatever you should do part. And to my own responsibility now, and of course I want to take it, we do have people that finish the program after 6 to 8 months or 10 months, and they're really happy where they are, and they really feel like, okay, cool, I can continue on my own. We also have people that finish the program, and to a sense, like, that's what I get told. And reality is, and I know in my heart, it's like, you don't get out with the results you wished you had. And that is my fault, and not necessarily my fault of saying like you don't follow whatever you should do, because the one thing that we do say inside our program before coming in, we say, if you prove us that you do your work, meaning like, and we always like to say, obviously, at least 90% of the work being done inside the website in the education, and obviously most of the things being followed, then you don't get that part. And I want to take full responsibility in a sense, like at times when you do that part, it's almost me allowing you to, or like sometimes allowing you or to pushing you into coming in, when in reality you're not ready. when you're not ready or not necessarily ready to that extent, to do the things that are required to be done, meaning like to let go of stories inside your mind, to let go of obsessions inside your minds about the way you see your image, to actually being able to say, my things that I love to do, like could be tennis, it could be cycling, it could be running, it could be classes, it could be, I just had a conversation earlier today with someone that finished, obviously we won't make any names. And again, we were talking about how the classes or cardio or that she has to do was impacting the results. And of course, it's like, and she said, yeah, for my mental health, I need it. Yeah. And I understand that. Yet there is a decision to be made. And it's like, what is more important? Like, is your image in the mirror something that you really want? Like you're tired of seeing what you're seeing and you're say, I'm going to do what it takes? Or is the classes that I want to do on cardio more important because I need to see my mates? I need to be able to release my brain, because that's a responsibility problem on my hand. And this got me to think about what I'm going to talk later, but it's like, sometimes I should just say, no, I think you're not ready to be helped by me. Because I'm rather being the person that says, if results is what you want, this is what necessary to get results. We see here, for example, going to make an example. I know, I don't think she's going to mind at this point. Claudia is an example. Like the dancing part, I said, I make it very public. It's like your dance could be your detriment. In the beginning, I said, are you okay with that? Are you okay with maybe you're not going to have the results speed up that you want? She was okay. And I saw, I think she's one of the biggest transformation, not only on the outside, but on the inside specifically. And for me, that's kind of like what makes me happy in a way. It's like you want to be able to transform on that sense as well. But I said in the beginning, it's like, if you're not okay with that, you need to tell me, because like, obviously we cannot give the chicken and the eggs. And some people, I guess that's what they expect. And today I want to give you a scientific point of view. And I also want to talk about the innovation that's going to happen, not only the way we frame our marketing to people, the way that we allow people in, but also in a way, because I think that if you are not in a position that you're ready to change or let go of the things, whether they're stories, whether they're things that you want to be doing still, whether it's food that you still want to be eating and yet you're not supposed to eat, if you're not ready to work on those things and see that as a long-term thing, then things won't necessarily help. And what I don't want to do no more is like, the first iteration of the program was before COVID. We had up to 100 clients, only to have half of them finish to their own volition, and obviously some of them, very few, keeping the results because they were not ready to finish. The other one, it was because they couldn't necessarily find the flexibility. And that means like you have to do things you're not want to do. And then obviously as COVID went around, I said, I'm not in a position to want to coach people, because when COVID hits and everybody wants to go online and everybody wants to make a buck online, and it's like you had professional go from being a mechanic to become a coach overnight. That tells me that people only senses prices. And I said, I'm not gonna lower my pants anymore and just work for this kind of money, just for be blinded by people that basically offer something to people when they have no idea what they're doing. And that brings me to what I talk about today. This whole idea of personalization. Like you go online and you find 10 different ads on Facebook. If you're in this program today, you see probably an ad every day, maybe two, talking about transformation, talking about now I'm actually seeing people going to my page and say, oh, cool. Oh, over 40. Now I'm going to do over 42. Little to no idea what they're doing. To a degree, I understand. And to a degree, I'm saying, if I want to fix this problem, I need to be honest with people and making them understand what's going on that sense. That's allow for better choices. And again, that makes me feel like today call needs to be streamed inside the group as well, because it's like I want people to get this thing, and I want people to understand where we're going with this, and I want also people to understand that this is not only a matter of education you're missing, but also, of course, a matter of commitment, a matter of saying, I'm dividing myself between a person and look for an intervention, and this intervention being something I do until I can go back to do whatever I want, versus I'm taking this and I'm going towards that forever. And I'm making this almost like something I can be inside of. Okay, I see all of you are here. Obviously, that's a small introduction. And that takes me to what I want to share my screen on for today, which before we go into this all very scientific stuff, I want to go into here and explain something here. One thing that we used to do, and I used personally to do, I had so many experience in the gyms, group training, and all that stuff. Before I went to what I like to call, and I'm going to see this guy actually this week, hopefully, my ex-boss, but we used to do personal training to a high level, not personal training and counting your rep personal training, but that means what the real personal training should be. To this day, and I travel the world, I have not seen many of this kind. I have two people I work for. I'm extremely grateful. I'm extremely lucky that I did that experience. But unfortunately, that's not what you see. And why I wanted to go online is because in addition to the fact that it's scalable, it allows us to be able to impact more people. I feel like I have a better connection with you girls than some of the people I used to work in the gym. That kind of like a good part. There is still limitation. Are they greater of a limitation to what I'm going to talk about today? I have no idea, because it's like one way we can, online applies to this circle over here, which is basically 80% of the people. Okay. And then there is the 20%. And I want this to kind of like make sense in a sense, because it's like the second circle is like the remainder 20%. And even though they don't look so good, we'll try to make it like make sense. Okay. The thing I'm going to talk about later on, the journey of my own journey, I'm going to document probably starting this week, because I want to see how if we can even make it possible, what I'm thinking in my brain. That's part of the 20%. So I understand that 80% of the people don't need this in a sense, like necessarily. This is why online works really well. And this is also why the one-to-one approaches offline or like in general, they don't work, because they don't take care of whatever 20% should be. It's more so they try to do whatever we do online live or to a different degree. Okay, and this is basically where we're starting. Why do all you people, or why do all people before coming to me lose results? Everybody wants to talk about only one thing. Everybody wants to talk about the major thing that everybody wants to talk about is the okay, this is new. I wanted just to copy this thing actually. Can I? Everybody wants to talk about, if you just look at all the ads again, nutrition. Everybody wants to talk about workouts. And again, oh, this is really crazy. Okay. Everybody wants to talk about nutrition or whatever. But why do people get, I really need to kind of like make this thing work, because otherwise, okay, cancel. One, this is what I'm gonna rate you. Why you give me an hard time to actually do what I need to do? Okay. Okay, let's do it this way. Nutrition, workouts, right? Why do people lose results or like get off the results? Because they do in fact wrong these two things. Whatever they don't do properly over time through the years, whenever things are changing, they don't do these two things properly, nutrition and workout. The thing is that these are not the only reason why you stop getting results. One of the reason, and we're gonna, if I can finally actually write something, one of the things is stress. Another thing, and now maybe it's working. Another thing, and again, today we'll quote a bunch of studies, but another thing is sleep. That's kind of impacts your hormone. Another thing is hydration or lack of hydration. Another thing is again, exercise like cardio or too much cardio or too much activity or too little activity or less movement, whatever. Like we have at least all these things. How does our program works well? In what sense? It's because whenever you take care of, based on the logic, you start taking care of all this stuff together, 80% of the people get results. Again, it sounds like a lot of people, but in a sense, it isn't like completely all the people. It's a good 80%. When I'm saying before, you need to kind of like understand a commitment, and we were talking with Dory the other time, whoever came into the mindset call, we said how, I was like, even privately to her, it's like, how do you get that results? Like, how do you just follow whatever I'm saying and then you get results? Obviously, you fall into this category over here. But on the same sense, you take a commitment and you say, I'm gonna do whatever you said. If you say, I don't do cardio, I don't do cardio. It's like, I'm not gonna say, can I just do it? Maybe, can I just, in my mind, whenever I'm saying, okay, I should do this versus that because my results is important, it's like, I'm just gonna do whatever it takes, not thinking in my mind, what would I do later? If I'm not supposed to eat carbs, I'm not gonna eat carbs. That's part of it. That's supposed to be part of it. And in one way, this is kind of like the direction we go towards. When we're talking about scale and like the weight being a problem, and I see people constantly looking at a scale as a metric. And again, when we made like 4 videos about weight being not a good metric to track, then when you get a 1 kilo more, you're going to be stressed. And there is one study that I just recently saw, and it's funny because there is this element of this thing that we're going to talk about in a second, the BIA, that measure that. There is something that measure the stress. And there was 2 specific people, one with a stress level of, there was like a tab like this, and the stress level was here. The other one was with a stress level like here. And on the side, there was a wave that is being measured with. And those wave, whenever you have wave, those are the wave that the hormones like adrenals, like other hormones, are being impacted on. And whenever those waves are not present, there is an additional layer of not being able to lose weight. So when we say to people, you shouldn't stress about the weight on the scale, and you see people constantly do that, understand that we need to get to the root problem of the stress. Again, something we can fix because we can actually go there. If you share whatever your stress is, if you're willing to go that, the stress could be eustress, positive or negative. When something happening with your family, or something that you have to travel, something you're losing your job, your car, whatever, or something like that. Or it can be something, a good stress, somebody getting married, or can be even something that you personally feel is good stress, like I play more tennis, I want to do my dance, and still it's like, okay, I always say to the level of that, flexibility can be good when you get results. When you don't get results, and that means like if we actually can measure that, okay, we've done a good metabolic recomposition over time, and that doesn't bring the results you want. We have said that it's not about your weight, but your measurements improving. So we see positive things, and you do that with doing your dance, like for example, Claudia, we do that, we do in your runs, we do in your classes, and like that's something I say, why would I take that away from you? I mean, it makes no sense. But when you don't see results, you get to the point that it's like, okay, what is the choice? Because like that's important. Like you have a choice. Like you want to keep doing your lifestyle, that's more important, or you want to be going towards the 20%. And the 20% is like all this is 100%. All this should be predicated on the fact that you understand that this is not a quick fix. But the 20% is like, let's see if we can measure that. And the only way to measure that is not about taking only your measurements or your pictures. We can get there almost like thinking it's like, okay, if you don't sleep well, like for example, me, I should improve my sleep. Sometime I should do much better with my excessive consumption of alcohol when I have fun. I should do better, probably, maybe tweaking a little bit the macros and everything. I know I work out in the gym mostly or at home, but in the gym with weights. I know that I should move more. So there are at least 4 things that I can improve on. And if I improve all these 4, and then I see more results, chances are then I'm falling into to the 80%. The 20% is more so whatever we can measure, and is done with this kind of testings, like BIA. And again, BIA, I mean this stuff, not the one that, like I saw a few people I've been asking to take this test. They went into places, which of course, and I'm like, they charge them for this test, and then this thing is not present. I mean, half of the phase angle is not present. It's telling me they basically give you this test, and the only thing that you shouldn't measure with this test is fat percentage. This give you fat percentage as a result, but it doesn't give you all the good thing is good for all the other data. When these things are missing, then you basically did the test for nothing. And again, this is something that I'm gonna do right now to myself, like I did that in the past. We used to work with that thing, and I'm gonna do it this week, and I'm gonna document my journey because much like I want to innovate in the future, I wanna be in a position to say, okay, what if this comes back that I need to go low carb? How is my colleague, and now my colleague, but before I was working for him, how is he going to put adherence into my own? How is it going to make it possible for me to eat low carb, if that's necessary? Because if you fell into that portion here, chances are there are interventions that are positive. The good thing that you can measure those. And this is like, I wanted to find something else, but it's like, this is a graph, as you can see here, that shows you a bunch of stuff. Like whatever this thing is good for is to measure body composition. And again, if somebody is good on reading body composition, and this says malnourished, disease, hypernourished. So if you're overweight, chances are you fall somewhere over here, and sport people. Okay, and he's in Italian, but obviously it's the same thing. This measure hydration level. So whenever if you're dehydrated, chances are your fat percentage is gonna be higher. If you hydrated, chances are your fat percentage is accurate. But if you don't understand, like, I mean, this is what's gonna tell me is like, if you fell, for example, in this side, which is, like I said before, let's go back to it. This is like malnourished. If you fall over here, chances are your body mass, meaning like you're too low body mass, and your chances are your muscle mass isn't as it used to be. And if you're doing cardio and you don't eat enough protein and you don't do strength training and you fell over here, chances are you need to implement something different to get this point, these dots that is gonna be at some point over here to go on this side. That would mean more muscle mass, because that means like you go from a malnourished, you can be an athlete but malnourished, to a real athlete. Okay, and again, over here, falling into the middle, that means somebody healthy. If you're in this point, chances are you're super healthy, or you're kind of like where you need to be. One of the cool thing about this instrument, and again, I'm gonna take it myself, and you probably say, what the fuck, Jerry, why didn't you tell me this before? Because you need to actually do it. Like, you either need to come here where I live, wherever like the studio we used to work is, and take this test, which is a 10-minute test. So it's a long thing, it's a long drive or a long flight to come here, or you need to find somebody that does it. So what I'm doing now is finding affiliates, professional, which are able to do this test and then shut up and let me interpret the test. Not do the test and sell you a bunch of supplements. Not do the test and saying, oh shit, your fat percentage is like this. What we're gonna have to do? Because if you take this instrument for the right purpose, this is the best thing that is gonna tell you whether you should do more cardio, whether you should do less cardio. If the dots falls over here on top, here, 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 chances are if it falls here, you can eat carbohydrates throughout the whole day. If it falls over here, chances are you should only eat partially, maybe probably in the morning, according to the cycle, but also like circadian rhythm. If it falls in here, your chances are you're insulin resistant or a active insulin resistant, and either is almost no carb or very, very little carbs. All these things are so precise, are laser sharp precise. If you fell over here and you do 3 dancing sessions a week and you still go from here and you do some strength training and you go towards that middle, chances are now that positive. I can say, okay, you continue. If that happens and like you go here towards to the left, to the right, chances are you need to give it up. And you need to be fine with that part. And obviously, because some people see me some sort of a magician, it's like, I can actually tell you what's going on, but I cannot, or I can no longer say we'd be fine with just randomly do that. Understand this is a innovation thing that I'm gonna implement into somehow. I'm gonna either find people that implement this test and find deals with them and say, let these people come to Norway, to Sweden, to Switzerland, to Italy, whatever you are, and take this test to a certain amount. Obviously, I want to find a way that is, especially if you're gonna have to spend money for this thing. I want this to be the right test, not something that doesn't give me. We need the phase angle. We need something that tells us your cellular state, because when your phase angle is good, that means that your cell is good, the fat is good. But if you're too much fat, for example, and then you like the body mass is completely destroyed, and the fat percentage is high, and the body mass is completely destroyed, yet your cell is good, until that you don't put body muscle into so that the body mass can be burned inside the muscle, nothing will change. That means that you need to be hydrated more. We're gonna know. If that means that you need to retain too much sodium, we're gonna know, because you can drink a lot of water but not retain, like you can not retain. If you drink a lot of water and the sodium is too high and you don't retain it properly, or you retain too much, that means that probably something else is the problem, the carbs or the too much junk food. And again, junk food, we always say there is no good and bad food, and I stand by what I'm saying. But if you're the 20% that can get results despite you doing the work, and that's the key. We need to see if you're doing, it's like we need to see if you're doing the work in a sense like, do you weight more, but the measurements are getting better? Like if that you can say that very easily, like the tape measurements are getting better, more weight, that's fine, you're getting results. So we don't need the test. But if you're doing that, and I know there is a few people, not here today, but I know a few people in the program that I had them implement this test, that's kind of like tells you exactly where you stand. And the idea is to twofold. Number one, to implement this testing in the future, and possibly even blood testing. Number two is, even before we get to that point, I want to make sure that you are in for the right reasons. It's like, if we know that, much like Nina, I see that running is like, if we know that you love running and that's going to be, or walking, that's your detriment, and you're not willing to give this up, chances are this is not the type of program, because the type of program is like you need to be making a choice, and that's very important. I hope this was helpful. I know some of you are going to see it and are going to ask about this test. I'm working on it. The best case scenario would be, what I would love the best case scenario to be is like making some sort of seminars like in my neighborhood over here, have all of you either drive here or fly here for like a day and say, you're taking this test, but on top of that, we do a full 1 day intensive on the workouts, which I know that people are missing out big time on, meaning like if we set strength training is the thing, I saw a few of you working out. For example, Jeanette worked out really, really well. I saw initially Lam is working out, and I saw Nina working out really, really well, Marcela working out really well. I do still think that a proper seminar about working out would be a very good thing for something online that is missing, because once you know the intensity you need to work on, you're just gonna replicate this. But again, I'll be talking with this person this coming week, and I see if something like it would ever be a possibility. I would love, for example, this guy to take the test and interpret it. Like, obviously I can interpret, but he's gonna have another level of interpretation. This is a researcher, so not a doctor, but probably more in that sense. It would be lovely to do that, because it's like, for those of you that really feel like they struggle in that sense, and even if you don't, and it's like, okay, I just want to know what's going on in my body, that's a very good thing to be able to interpret that. I'd like to keep part of that seminar as well, of saying, how can you read that? If I gave you a test and I interpret it for you, and then like you go back and get another test, how can you interpret it? Like, there is like so many lines with so many colors, and the color green is in the middle, and then there is red and yellow. And if you don't fall in between the green, there is always like a problem. And you kind of like want to be interpreting that. What would that do? Is like, it's gonna speed up results. It's gonna ensure that you have a real time frame, and a real, not only time frame, but more so a real proven, personalized. That's that word that it's thrown around today so much, personalized. That's a real personalization for you. And it's so sad that you see his website and you say personalized workout and nutrition. And then you go online and you see 10 of these things. It's like personalized. It's like, that's a commodity now, because people don't understand what personalized means. It's like, okay, as long as you can, whatever, everything is personalized. As long as I give you a meal plan, it's personalized, but not really. Like, it's personalized to a degree. If we can get you results, it's personalized. So whoever watching, and obviously whoever's in the program, understand that if you're getting results, that's amazing. If you're not getting results, get some patience still, because we understand the things we can improve. Yet it's not easy to do something of that nature, of detail online. And what I'd love to do, like in a perfect world scenario, would be like, if I had one of these every corner that you can implement the test, this would be our phase 0. It's like, go get the test, get back these missed results, and we start according to that. Then presents another problem though. And the other problem is like, and this is why I want to document my journey before saying we can actually do that extensively. Chances are my own thing will come out that I'm going to have to go probably a little bit low carb, if not more than low carb. How the fuck am I going to do it? Like, is that possible? Because again, it's something like, it cannot be something that just say, okay, if you want your result, that's what you're getting. It's like, okay, for me, this is my lifestyle. I like to work out anyway. I want the results anyway, but it's like, this is something I don't have to do, because many people in general just do something and say, oh, I just gonna do a program for 3-6 months or a year, and then I can just go back to what I want. This is something I've been working on for 20 years. So for me, it's like, would it be nice for me to see more results, or the results I want, after working out for 20 years? Yet, the adherence is difficult. And I know for some of you, adherence is like, I have to do less cardio, and you don't like it. For me, maybe I need to eat more clean. It's better if I could be a bit more flexible. But if we can somehow make this thing a given, like when you know, because if you know all this data and then you say, okay, cool, but I'm not gonna stop my dancing anyway, well, then it's pointless for you to know. It's like saying, okay, I have my blueprint, but I'm not gonna do it, the blueprint. And unfortunately, this is how most people think in reality. Because like you have like everybody, like again, 80% is like, you all know that you need to stress less. You all know that you need to drink more water. You all know that you need to probably move a little bit more. You all know that chances are you need to improve the quality of food a little bit. But this, when we do a challenge, you do it maybe for a week or 2 or 3, and then like that's it. So if you just take care of everything and then you have a real lifestyle, then yeah, then something like this can be useful. And again, maybe this marries together in a way, like, okay, like in a sense, it's not so bad that we start from building habits in the first place. Hopefully this long rant wasn't something bad. I hope you see this as more innovation and more help, and definitely something that, in my opinion, would make personally my program probably more unique and different than anything else, because like that's a level of specificity that in the marketplace you don't ever see. The way that we're going to have to implement is still a bit up in the air, and this is what we're going to do. But combined with those data, we always can go and say, okay, if you are not where you need to be, and we can know that you're like, okay, your body needs to lose good 10 kilo of weight, and you don't, and you're eating very little, 1500 calorie, and then you maybe not working out and moving enough, chances are, metabolic recovery can take care of that. With this being said, I like to dive deep into the people that are here for that. And I know that, again, it's going to be much easier in this way. I don't think, David, I don't think you need that, because like your body is in a good position of losing weight still. Yet you and Bianca and Lisbeth in this sense, because also I don't think Lisbeth needed either at the point. If you have any questions that you want to ask regard to your things right away, I'll go with you first, and then I'll dive deep into the people that that's actually doing this, which is basically Jeanette, Claudia, Lamis, and then Marcela. I don't think you're doing that either. But if you have any question, you guys can ask, so we can then dive deep into the rest. Any question about anything you saw, anything about the BIA, anything about any other testing, anything about, and again, this applies to also the people that needs to do the recovery. So if you want to raise your hands and ask, no problem. I'm just going to ask you to be firm, meaning like go ahead and talk, because then we need to dive deep into some of them, going to take more time. So again, please unmute yourself and ask your question before we go into people. Yes, Claudia, go ahead.
Maybe I missed the beginning, but I didn't get what this test actually is.
It's a BIA is a body composition test, and in my opinion, when used properly, is the gold standard of telling you what's going on in the body when implemented consecutively. Meaning, like, if you go and take it one time, I can tell you what to do, and at some point you would have to take it again to measure whether these dots are changing. Yeah, okay, you can measure, like, if you look at the mirror, you're improving, that's also good. If you feel good, it's also good. If you, for example, now we raise your calorie, right? We didn't need that to do that. And chances are now, like, your face looked totally different the last time. Chances are something we're doing is working. So we don't need the test. But if instead we went on that and went on the opposite way, chances are that test would tell you, in all fairness, and again, this is an hypothesis, but in all fairness, you probably fell into something like this, if you can see it on the right. And that means that you would be maybe like an athlete, but malnourished. If you fell down on this side, it would be like probably you need to see a doctor, is maybe a disease or something, like there is a cellular inflammation. Go ahead.
I get the information you get out of there. The question is, what is measured in there? What is it?
Oh, you mean, what is it? It's like,
yes.
It's something that basically measure your, like, the water inside your body. Cell-wise, there is the cells, and the cells has water inside. And based on the electricity that goes through, which is something you don't even perceive because it's something so small, you put two things here, a cable here and a cable on your feet, and then you basically measure the two values that give all this data. And one thing that is not measuring directly is fat percentage. And I still see all professionals saying, oh, we have the body composition test, we tell you the fat percent. Okay, cool. Yeah, but that's not going to help, because if you're dehydrated, you'll be higher. We had people, when we used to do it, used to lose 5 kilos in a week or in 2 days. It's obviously not possible. But that thing said that, because if you're dehydrated, that means like you're more, so basically when you're dehydrated, you need to watch all the other data and tell, okay, this measure this and this and this. It's quite complex. It's not an easy test. It's not an easy test to read.
Right. Okay, thanks.
Okay, cool. Any other question regarding anything else before we dive deep into what we have to do? Okay. So do you want to be first, Claudia, since you're there, or who wants to start? Because again, we can look into your thing if you want.
So here I am.
Okay. How do you feel? Seeming like you're feeling better, right?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay. So let's just and again, I'm talking purely about the physical part. I know that the mindset, you're still working on it, but did you take new measurements? Anything new?
Pretty the same. I add a little bit of weight, but that's fine. And the measurements is kind of the same.
Kind of the same. Okay, well, just give me a second because I'm opening up the thing and I don't know why I cannot see it.
So I did it today.
Okay, yeah, I'm just, it doesn't let me open your thing first. I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. Just give me a second. Okay. So even before I go there, the fact that you basically eating more calorie, a lot more calorie, and you seem to have your vital sign back, your face is totally different, you probably energy back, you're on the right track. Okay, like this is easy for me to see. The good thing is that you probably thought if I'm eating so many more calorie, and again, I do apologize, but this thing is not coming up, and I don't know if it's something with a connection today or what. But anyway, if the measurements are more or less the same, your weight is more or less the same, and everything else changes. Obviously, you need to keep going on that sense because this is going to allow you to be in a much better position 3, 4, 5. Oh, there you go. Let me share with everybody because that's important. You see it, okay? So now you started here, and then of course you got open. Like this is basically your trend weight. Is in pounds, but it's not necessarily what I care about, like 81 kilo, whatever. It's more so like the trend. So now you're getting a little bit back, half a kilo, whatever, but you put back now, look at that, almost 400, 500 calorie. Okay. What I want you to do now, I would like you to do here. Are you able to work out more now? Are you able to go back and slowly implement your dances and everything?
I definitely could do the weights better because I was more stable, like not shaking. Okay. So that was definitely better, and dancing is not so good for other reasons, but it's okay. It's getting better.
Okay, good. We'll tweak this. I'll take off some of the protein because I don't want this to risk to be inflammatory. And basically we'll keep still fat in there and we'll priority to the carbs. Okay? Okay.
Question. I cannot tweak it like that in the MyFitnessPal app because it's only 5 gram steps I can tweak there.
Yeah.
So
yeah, like you're not, because why do you do that though? Like, why do you need it? Like, because you mean like you...
Because I don't see it in the day. It's just like, so sometimes I just add on if I know what I will be eating in the evening, but otherwise it's just like by chance that I'm getting there.
Can you just see the calories though?
I just see the calories and I can get there like 40% or 45% or 50%, but nothing in between.
In a percentage.
Right. And I can only change the percentage, not the real. And
then you're looking at 50% of carbs and 25 of the rest.
Right.
Okay. So again, remember, it doesn't have to be something specific. Like it doesn't have to be like 100% precise to the T. It has to be so what I want to give you an appreciation for is like we need to kind of like keep a amount of fat that, again, provided that I'm seeing what I'm seeing improving, that it's going to take care of all the moods, about the hormones, about everything. The carb is definitely the one thing that we need to improve on all the time, over time, and 250 calorie more is going to go a long way whenever you start implementing some of the cardio back slowly. Okay. and of course, then we can say, okay, can you keep dancing? Well, if this is the trend and this is like the way it goes and you keep going down, that's fine. Now I see a huge transformation on the fact that you're still dancing anyway. When it comes to the beginning, look at the beginning, like body-wise in general. Like there's a huge transformation here, from here to now. So of course, that's whether or not taking away the dance would have gotten you faster results, we don't know. But we can definitely don't want to do that because it's kind of like let's say your life. But until that it gives results, that's fine. You're gonna ask me, until what point should I just keep raising? Until that you're comfortable eating that much, and you're like, let's say you get to 3,000 and all those things are gone. Like you no longer have weird feedback. You still and you don't necessarily gain weight continuously. Meaning, like if you go to 3,000 calorie and you're still on the same weight, more or less, then it's fine. And at that point, we might decide, okay, we need to kind of like do at some point a cut. I would say whenever you get there, you want to find a way to sustain it for a while and still probably tweak some macros around and then see benefit from that, until that we can say, okay, if we want to go a little bit lower, now you have what most men would have to, like most big muscle men would have as a metabolism, which is super high, 3,000 calorie or 28. But again, that can be a very much situation of some of you watching here or in the program are going around to 15, 12 or 15 or 1,600 calories, and they still need to lose 10 kilos. How are we going to do that? It's going to be tough until that we don't find a way to implement that. Okay, great. Is it clear to you?
Kind of. Is there like do you have like a specific asking how so what kind of carbs I should eat? Like I'm a little bit unsure what to do because now I'm adding bread, which is not the best idea, I guess.
See that again, to the extent that we have with what we talk about today, no, I don't. It's like until that we don't see a negative correlation, you can eat whatever you want. Okay. Obviously, more fruit in a sense, like it's gonna give you a better buck for calories, but it's a lot of fructose, and a lot of fructose get converted into fat easily or faster. So then I don't. If we had those data that I said before, we probably would be able to tell you, okay, you need more a type of, not so much of the carb, but more so the type of fat. Do you need vegetable protein versus animal protein based on the inflammation? If you have a lot of water or sodium retention, chances are sometimes even the good carb or, very ancient grain type of carb is a problem. But if we are sitting where we're sitting now, I don't see food quality being an issue at the moment. Eat whatever you like, basically. So far, it's good to do that. Okay, anybody else who wants to go? Come on, there's only a handful of you. We need to go. Go ahead, Jeanette. Let's dive deep. Let's unfold all your concern about this week.
Well, it's not necessarily concern, but I don't really understand why half an hour running per week is stagnating my results. Because before I started the program with you, and I was running like 10 kilometers per session, 3-4 times a week. Now in the beginning, starting the program with you in May, I didn't run for 3 weeks or something. And then I raised the calories, of course, and then I started running once a week again, raising the calories. But I still do short runs, like 4 or 5 kilometers. So for me, it's something, but it's not really a lot of cardio still.
Yeah. So basically, like the whole nature of this recovery here, like, and I did say it in a message, is like a few things to unfold. Number one, and again, just because what I talked about before, stress levels, whether it's good or bad stress, will impact to a chemical point your results, in a sense, like if we would measure these waves and you see no waves being produced to your for adrenals or whatever, which is basically the relationship with parasympathetic and sympathetic system, neural. Do you know what that means? It's like sympathetic is like everything, like when we stress about something, it's like, and then parasympathetic is when we relax. Is to make it understand is this one, yeah. So if this wave are not like in a nutshell, you would be a very good candidate to take this kind of test, because it's like we really need to measure whether a run of 30 minutes is too much or too little, or we need to measure what your body can support. On that sense, I'm going to go into to a level deep and say, even strength training, sometimes we see people taking this test and we measure those, and it's like we used to, and it's like, let's say you do a press, yeah, and you do 20 reps versus 5 reps. I mean, that detail is a difference. It's like you see 20 reps is providing a different stressor to the body that is inflaming in a way that you don't recover, and that's an issue. So it's not like you cannot, but what I'm saying is, like, first and foremost, we need to understand that stress is an issue. So more I'm concerned about the stress than the running. I'm concerned about the stress of the constant, how do you say, not obsession, but more so like worrying on the scale. Like that's a problem, because like if you're retaining water and you build cortisol, chances are this alone is preventing you from letting go of the water and seeing a better result despite anything else. So I said patient is a virtue in this case, and it's important because it's like, I don't know, it's like you need to see it long term. Yeah. Secondly, you might not see this a win, but when you did start, compare anything, removing all the cardio part away, when you start, as I'm gathering from what you told me, you're eating something short on 1200 or 20, something like of that nature, so lower food. Yeah,
1400 calories.
Right. So even if you, and again, it's gonna sound like it's a sucking, this is gonna say, oh, that sucks. But even if you were able to now eat 1800 calories and have the exact same things on the mirror, meaning like same measurement, same weight, you basically going towards that thing that provides the results. Initially, what we gather is like, if we remove the cardio completely, that got you to break a plateau. That means like your body, for some weird reason, is sensing like, and again, I don't know if Nina is running or walking, but I'm seeing people walking and running all the time. And it's like, for some, the same 10 kilometers per day kind of session compared to yours, it works. It's like, it doesn't impact. Yeah. But the question is like, let's say that we did this test with you somehow, and that tells you that you said, hey, by the way, your muscle mass is in, and I don't think that's so much of a case because you do strength train. But much like me, when you strength train for a lifetime and when you progressively overload, and like there is some point that you cannot put more muscle mass. It's like your body get a cap, and it's like the only thing we can do is like moving other thing. That would tell me like your cellular state is great. It will give me a 6.4 at least. That's great. Your muscle mass is in a way, your fat percentage is in another way, and then it would tell me, by the way, your body has compensated this way. So then you can only really go 2 ways. It's like you either move a lot more, reduce some of the stressor, like it could be, I don't know if the classes or it could be the cycling, or it could be the running, or but if the test told you, this test or whatever test told you is like, I need to reduce my cardio forever, would you do it?
If the test would tell me, yes, I would do, because like I said in the beginning, I did it as
And
well.
you would do it like forever?
Well, this would be contradictional for me, because every doctor would say you need to move and you need to make sure that you keep moving. But I reduced my movements a lot. The strength training I already reduced. I now almost do no running anymore. I eat more. And it's not necessarily the weight on the scale, because even if I would weigh 80 kilograms, I wouldn't mind. But my clothes are getting tighter. So this is mainly my concern.
Okay, yeah.
So I feel it in my body. I just
yes,
feel
I get it.
I'm getting fatter.
Right. Yeah. Let's see if this is actually let's see what, like, do you take the new measurements now?
Yesterday, yeah, yesterday I showed
You
everything.
posted, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's unpack everything and let's see whatever we're saying here, okay? Okay. Okay, cool. So let's get the data, okay? So this is basically your journey. And in fact, now, like, you are basically to more or less same, a little bit, actually a little bit more weight-wise. It can be water retention, it can be actual weight, whatever. Measurements, right? So neck, okay, waist, as you see, is still down. It's up from here, but it's down from the beginning. Okay. Hips, yeah, it's like still from the beginning down. So basically that tells me that, in my humble opinion, you feel like you're gaining weight, but you're not getting fat.
No, like I said, I'm just watching my clothes. This is what I do since
And
years.
of course, the clothes, if the weight goes up, the clothes gonna be tighter. Yeah. So now, obviously, we need to go into to a deeper level. The question is like, do you feel? And let's look into the pictures at the moment. Do you feel like you are retaining water?
And not like I feel, but like you see my back. My back is and that's where I see it the most. Fat on the back.
I mean, first, I don't think you're fat, actually. Like I think, like, I see a lot of muscle mass. I feel like you have like, obviously, if you want to improve body composition, that's different, but it's like you're not like you gaining fat, for sure. This I can tell you for sure.
Oh, but my waist is going away. There's no waist anymore. So it's really my midsection and my breasts.
Mm-hmm. No, like, I don't see, for example, puffiness. I don't see water retention. I think, like, so the question is like, from here you can go in your recovery a few ways. It's like now you're eating this much, right?
Yeah.
And you're only eating this much from how many days? From 1 week or two?
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
No, 1 week, I think.
Okay. And when it comes to the exercise, I think you asked me to the exercise, you asked me a more split routine, right?
Yeah, I have now, instead of the machines, I do it with weights.
Okay, that's a different level of specificity again. Okay, good. Steps, are these things accurate?
No, because I don't always wear my watch, but I'm always around 9,000-10,000 steps per day.
Okay, so that's a lot of walking. Okay. On top of that, you're just doing one run, yeah?
One run, yeah, and yeah.
Okay, good. So then, again, because I see, okay, weight might be going up, but I see the measurement being stable, or even some of them are lower, or like again. Now, again, like I said before, now is the time. The time is gonna determine. Okay, so from here, we can go a few things. Let me see if we're not looking into the macros here, right? Oh yeah, we did. So we said about the carbs. Okay. Do you find, ever since you changed this macro, to feel like you're retaining more water?
Yeah, with carbs.
Okay.
And sometimes I even have real stomach ache.
From the carbs or from the food?
I think it's from the carbs because I'm not used to eat all those carbs.
What is your food choices specifically?
Well, I did pasta, bread. So now, actually, from this week on, I thought maybe I should try lentils, a bit more lighter carbs, but in a different way.
Do you have history from leaky gut or anything that if you eat legumes creates a problem with the gas? Because that's otherwise gonna get worse.
No, not from the legumes. No.
So let me put it this way: if you're inflamed, vegetable protein will do worse.
Okay.
Okay. So what I would like to do instead, and again, providing that you're eating a lot of food, and I wouldn't touch this for the moment, I would just make a tweak, we would do that. We would make a little bit more protein and a little bit more fat and a little bit less carbs, and see, because the measurements are stable and the weight is like 1 kilo more. But right now you're hitting almost 2,000 calories, unlike when you came in. So that's a win. And again, you might not see it this way, but I think Jennifer posted on that and said, how do you feel? How do you also sleep? How do you, and again, if all these parameters would be bad, then we go in towards the opposite direction. But I would say is like, since we're tweaking that, throw in there another run. You have nothing to lose at this point. I don't think, like you said, I don't think the run is going to determine whether or not like that. But I hope the appreciation you're getting today is like, there is not one thing that we need to do. It's like there is several tweaks that you need to make every time, right? And we need to tweak slowly, because if I tell you, okay, just throw in there 5 runs and then let's change your carb or whatever. One thing that I can gather is like that chances are, if you're retaining water and it seems mostly on your waist, on the middle, there is some insulin resistance temporary, which is not the real thing. It's more so like temporary from the carbs. And so let's tweak that and see what happens. I still want to have that energy level, because that energy level is going to allow you to, in fact, put in the run. Like I said, what I want to do is like, okay, let's keep whatever you like to do, and which is running. But not, at this point, you need to make a choice. There is no, running, cycling, walking. It's like it needs to be specific. It's like the gym needs to stay in there, or the weights in that matter. The run.
That's what I like. That's actually my main preference. So
then let's keep the preference. Yeah, let's concentrate on getting you a better, getting you a better VO2 max, so better engine. Meaning like not running, blend running. You know how some people just blend run. It's like, let's look for timing when you run. Look for to run. If you only run let's say 3 kilometers or 4 kilometers in a day, look to run this in a little bit of a faster way.
Yeah, Jenny, and I posted it yesterday. It was really because I felt like, okay, maybe somebody can help me from the group.
No, you can. You just need to be.
This is and because of my MS, running is good for me. So this is why I may be a bit focused on the running, because I also need to keep my stamina. And with just walking, this is not. Yeah. So
in fact,
if I can
I
just
would
do
trade.
4 or 5 kilometers, I would be good.
I would say you want to be maybe trading off some of the walking to the. So at the end of it, again, all these clocks will never measure accurately. By anyway, by the chance, it's like why people, what the weight loss problem in the industry that is not is for 2 things. People don't understand. They understand the energy deficit. They understand that, yet they don't understand how to measure that. It's like they think they're eating too little or too much. They don't accurately know how much they're eating. And then sometimes it's like on a form of, okay, I'm eating clean. Why am I not losing weight? Yeah, but clean eating like broccoli the whole day, you'll still gain fat. It's like, it's still calorie. It's better than an ice cream, and the other one is like the overestimation of those machines, like those ones that they measure 20,000 steps, you're only really doing 10,000, whatever. And sometimes even you do 20,000, your body get adapted to the run. Meaning like if you're running 10 kilometers today and in 10 months ago, you used to burn, let's say in that run 1,000, now you only burning 800. But that machine will tell you you're still burning 1,000. So basically like that gap is shorten and shorten and shorten. And when you get to a point that you have some hormone issue, you have some, well, not you, but insulin resistant. We have all these things getting some so closer, and then the body don't no longer have the excess, the deficit to take those stores part. Meaning like the storage that you see on, because let's be honest, and I think you can all agree here in this call, you don't have a lot to lose. Like it's not like you have 20 kilos to lose. Like so, it's like it's so small the gap that your body needs a little bit more, effort. So
I know, but
yeah.
especially because of my MS, I need to focus on not getting more.
No, that's a
getting
priority then. Like that's a priority and it's important. I would say if you want to do some work, in a sense, it's like the best thing that you can at the moment do. Really detach yourself, or really get to the bottom of understanding why am I many times. Sometimes I don't know if that's what I'm getting. I got from you, but it's like maybe it's just my assumption that is not right. You seems to be stressing for the weight, and if you do that, then that's gonna retain more water by nature. Again, I don't have the study to show you, but I wish I did. It's like, maybe I'll pull it up from Instagram from this person and I show you. He's in Italian, but it's like that shows that part. That's very important. Daron, I'm trying to do my best to, in fact, I was thinking when you posted that you were 1800. Now you're almost 2000. That's a lot of calorie already. There is a lot of things from there we can do, but we need to get you to a point that you don't gain weight from this. And you imagine, like, if you only gain weight 1 week and now it's going to stabilize and like this for another couple of weeks, then it's very positive, because it's like, and sometimes you need to see at least a month like this, a month and a half. And then you say, when am I ready to go to the next step? It's like, whenever your body's ready to cut and to not readapt. And again, for the most part, it's like, now you've been doing this for, in 3 months, that's what you gain. Usually would take the same, let's say 2 or 3 months to stabilize, and then you're ready for a cut. You can obviously try it before, if you do some cardio before and running, and that still provides results, that's good. Yeah, because if you run more now, we're supposed to raise even more the calorie. But let's keep you the way it is and just put that run in for a few weeks and see what it does. But aim for, but again, you're gonna trade the running for some of the steps. So let's say you do 8,000 steps and you're gonna throw another run, maybe longer the first one, and then let's say 45 minutes, and then another 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 2 runs per week. And let's measure that, and let's see only doing that. But it's important, you should not have more form of cardio, in a sense, like, it's good for the heart, and I know that, but if it's important to do, to know that. And going back to the parenthesis before, you're in Netherlands, right? I would love to find somebody over there that can implement the test, because for you, would definitely tell me, I think you should take the test twice, like once, and then put a bunch of runs in there and see what does that do, because that's gonna tell you, the first part is gonna tell you, okay, we should just do this. Like, this is kind of like your blueprint. You're not gonna fly blind. In other words, you're not flying blind, because like, you're just like, no, in addition to everything you do already, which is good, you know exactly what to do. You're supposed to have a control, because it's like, okay, if I go put in there 2 runs or 3 runs, is my dots the same? In that case, it's like, you can certainly handle cardio really well. And of course, then at some point it's gonna tell you. I think you were in the program already. I did talk about it once in the past. When you are deep into those plateaus, sometimes there are ways to break those plateaus, and they're very extreme. And rather than do a cut of 500 calorie, your cut potentially could be whatever we did, for example, with the other Jeanette. There's another Jeanette here. This kind of, so your body won't react to small little changes so much anymore. If that's what I'm thinking being the case from you, you work out really well and good, and from a long time. It will do a very, very huge differences from B whenever it's ready. So right now I wouldn't do it in a month, because it's like, we're just gonna put a band-aid into a problem, and then again, we don't fix long term. But in a couple of months that you say, oh, I'm now burning 2,100 calories or 2,000 calories, I have my runs in there, you can do something really extreme. And it's like, either for 1 week out of 1 month, you do something super extreme, or you do that extreme things a couple of times a week, and it's on the nature of, and I'm not gonna throw it in there. That might be your intervention, or it might be something too similar. It could be like that studies, and that to an extent. And I think it's called not Madator study. It's something else. It was in Finland, by the way. So something like, again, in the same side of. So it's like, they had people eating 1,000 calories for 1 week, plus they were doing about 2 2 or 3 hours of work, probably 4 hours of walking a day. So an extreme deficit, something like is like mostly liquid food. They did a study with liquid food versus food, like actual food, only had, 800 to 1,000 calories. So basically what happens was that these people that never lost weight, they lost 5 kilos on that week. But then you go back into an isocaloric diet, meaning like you don't go back and you eat more like most diet works, like you starve and then you eat more. You go back into a isocaloric, meaning like your isocaloric at that point, it could be 16 or 1800 calorie, doing a couple of workouts a week. And so basically what happens was that when your body senses that, you lose the weight, but now you've done an intervention. It's like, let's say, doing a surgery for you almost. You do an intervention and then you go back to normal. Yeah. And the normal is like the one thing that was fascinating for the study, that after that, you show that people still kept losing weight for some weird reason. Either was for the intervention that it was extreme, but also was because the habits of walking 5 hours a day for a week, then got them to naturally want to walk for at least 1 hour a day. Yeah. So they keep up an habit, right? So at that point, at some point when you're ready to do it, and this is full disclosure, this is what I would do with you. Like, and that I think that can be advantageous, because at that point, then we can throw in there 5 hours. Like we can throw 5 runs a week for a little bit. We can try that, because I'm not gonna say your running is impact, but it's like people tend to either do too much or too little and tend to do the same. So your body now is a set point to run, before you start a program, to run 5 times a week or 4 times a week, then you stop losing. But maybe if you run a lot more than that, it would be advantageous. We just cannot have you run 5 times a week eating 1,200 calories. You see that?
No,
right?
I didn't see it then. That's
I mean, like, not long term. That can be done for a week, but then you need to close the gap. Yeah. So what I'm saying is to you, when I say patience, is more so like, if you eating, and again, this also in the future, but in the present, like if you ate 2,000 calories and you got 5 kilos, chances are your metabolism is super adapted. The first thing I would do will put you back into 1,500 to undo the problem. Yeah. Right now, I don't want to rush it that way, because unlike, I know, might not feel good about seeing and feeling the clothes, but it's like you going towards an intervention that is important. And trust me, sooner rather than later, we can jump into that intervention. But I'd allow you to be able to process those calories, since that the trade-off is so small, which is like 1 kilo, and the measurement being the same is not better. So then I'm saying, like, just do 1 run a week, an extra one, because it's good for DMS, which is, by the way, is really important. And then secondly, just let's work on that, because I think that's really positive. I see it as a win, and future-wise, even in our marketing, when we get people in, it's like, some people, like, this is kind of, it's like, you cannot just give people saying, okay, how can they see a win, you gaining weight? Well, if your metabolism now is the same weight and is in a position for you to lose weight long-term, that's a win, because many people are doing diet, and then, they do crash diet, and then they gain weight after the diet. Then they do another crash diet, and you're just gaining and losing the whole time. And that's not, and when we put it scientifically, that's a problem, because you're not improving over time. You're just basically wasting a bunch of time and money and energy and whatever you're trying, 1 time keto, 1 time this. And so it's like, it's very important that you harm yourself with patience. In my opinion, I see this thing still positive. I don't see like you're not, you might not be losing, but I see what happening like it's supposed to happen is positive. Hopefully that you see it this way too, because it's important. Like, I would say sooner rather than later, we can go into that intervention.
For me, it was a deep dive to share my insights in the group as well. So
this is why I like to do this, is either in this call or in check-in person, because it's like, you need to see why we're doing it, not because I want to say, by the way, I want to force you to do something you wouldn't want. I'm just trying to do that. I will look also for that test. Where are you located? It's close to Amsterdam?
No, in the south, nearby
south.
Tilburg, Eindhoven, Antwerp. I'm closer to Antwerp than I am to Amsterdam.
Send me your your city by later or whatever you want.
I'll
Because
put it in the app.
yeah, I want to see if there is anything that you can implement the test, because that's definitely gonna be helpful. I would basically call them up, and I'm trying to find some sort of partnership, in a sense, like, by the way, I'm gonna send you, let's say, a client. Let's see what we can do in having them to either, let's say, get one test for free out of two, maybe one is free, or what, you know what I mean? It's like, I want to find something advantageous for both party, because obviously some clinics will be more than happy for people to provide a referral. Yet for me, it's like, obviously I don't want to necessarily get anything on top of it, but in one way, like, for me, it's going to be a win if I can actually include that into what we're doing, because like, it's going to make my job a lot easier, less stress for you, because obviously you're probably falling into the 20%, I want to say, that we talked about. Like, you are just, it's not like you're not doing the work. We need to see how much cardio we can get away with, but you're definitely working out well. I know that. I know that you provided that you are, I'm probably gonna say that you're, you know, let's say, even if you don't track correctly, like, you're still doing, let's say, 80%, right? Which for me, it's like you're doing the work. You're not doing the work, you're doing the work. So that's good. Okay. Any question? I would just change your macro as I did and just implement, like, any question.
No, for now, I'm good. Thank you for the
Let me
clarification.
just so I remember, because I'd like to do that before then, because then otherwise I'm gonna have to ask you on the call, because next call we're gonna have is gonna be either with me or Dori, but definitely at some point we're gonna talk about how this, like, when to cut and everything, and I need to remember that I said to you to do that too. So what we're doing is that, okay, a bit lower carbs and lower carb and 2 runs plus, is it 3 or 4 workouts now that you're doing on the
Three.
weight? 3. Okay, 3 weights. Okay, easy. And wish me luck, because when I'm taking that, I know what's gonna come out, and I'm already, like, I know what it means when it's hard to adhere to something. It's hard. I'm not saying like it's easy to give up stuff or to implement new things. Okay, but guys, check out the journey, because I'm gonna actually, like, I said that I'm gonna, in September, I said now it's like summer is off, you know, even for me, I want to just put some goals for myself, and I want to do that by doing a different approach and try. I always like to implement on my own skin before to put something into my program, and therefore, like, follow that, because I'm gonna talk about that. That's in September. Several new things are gonna happen, including a big things that is gonna be announced probably next week. But that my journey, as well as probably even Jennifer journey, because like she's recovering from her health issue. Full disclosure again, Dori now, she's gonna basically take care of all the check-ins. Jennifer, she momentarily will be concentrating, she's still on a team, but on her journey. And then as she recovers, then there's gonna be a very interesting thing coming in a few months from now, probably, about her giving some virtual workouts as well. So that's good stuff that also want to share as well. Okay, fantastic. If we can move forward, so we already said anything that we have to say. Sophie, we have Lamis, Marcela, Davida. Please, Davida, let me ask you, any question, any concern about anything? Because I know that you're still rebuilding the habits. It seems like you're doing good. Any question about your specific thing? Because I know that the metabolic recovery is going to be a little bit more detailed. We can dive into yours as well. You don't need, if you don't want to share the screen, is okay. But do you have any question about anything that you're doing at the moment?
No, I'm just mentally recovering right now. There's been some things happening, work, and I've been super tired as a consequence of that. So yeah, I'm just, I'm getting back to work after vacation and getting my food habits back on track, and so that's really what I'm working on right now.
Fantastic. So I see your measurements here. You have
Yeah, I don't think I've
yeah,
done any for some time actually, because yeah, it just left my mind.
yeah, okay. So important things, Doris said that you're doing really well, like you just are implementing everything. Again, you, in my opinion, if we talk about what we said before, you fell into the 80%, so it's easily fixable. It's like you also, in my opinion, your body has a lot more to go at the moment. So just implement small little thing, but do take those measurements, yeah? Measurements,
Yeah.
weight, and like post it in the app, because if we look back in 1 month or 2 months from now, I'd love to have that data, and we don't, and again, more thing that we have, we don't need super detail for you, but we do need that part, because otherwise, again, we flying blind, you know, and like, we need to know that whatever you're doing, AKA, let's say you're doing 5,000 steps, that produces this much results at the moment, which might be different from whatever was producing in the beginning.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, 5,000 steps maybe give you 2 kilo weight loss. Now give you half a kilo, but we need to know.
Yeah.
So it's very simple. Just do, and again, don't do it like for the mind. It's like, don't feel challenged on that. Like nobody's like, it's not for you to be judged or for you to get stressed off. It's more so for you to measure. Yeah. And one thing I'm happy about this program, the people that are into, is like here, I see that even the one that were really concerned most times, almost obsessed about the weight, now you see it as a metric point of view, and therefore it's very positive, because like you kind of changing a little bit your mindset as well. So that's good. Okay, Davida, if you need us, let me know. I will tell Dori otherwise to follow up with you still.
Yeah, I think I have a meeting with her tomorrow, so
fantastic. She's gonna let me know. Okay, fantastic. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, Marcela, I'm trying to unmute you. Are you in a position to talk, or you are still you are with your kids, or like, can you talk? Guess not. Let's see. Okay, I don't see anything. Okay. Well, we'll jump to Nina then, because obviously we you want to move forward. Like, unmute Nina. Let's see where you stand with your recovery. I'm just opening up your file now. Hello?
Yes, can you hear me?
I can, yes.
Yeah, good.
How you feel?
Actually, now I have had a really bad week with really less sleep.
Bad sleep?
Very much to do, and little water. Everything has been wrong, and that's due to a sick boy and everything. So I haven't taken my measurements today. I'm doing this tomorrow, I think, because then I will be able to get up in the morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's
But
why is this all these metrics like this? Like, what are you saying? I feel like weak down, or what is it like? What
yeah, but still despite all this, I feel kind of the same as soon as I have a day that I have been eating as good as I can, but still I don't feel as good as before, of course, because so less sleep this week. And I also turned 40 this weekend, so I had a party. And this I allowed myself to do. So I think I need some days to recovery after a week with less sleep, and then this party in the weekend.
Yeah, okay. So as far as I'm seeing here, like you are basically on only on workouts and walking, right? Like, you were walking or you were running before?
I was walking with a dog.
Walking with it. Okay, good. So walking, I see. Let me just share this with you, because this way, like, you have a visual. Okay, I'm looking at your steps now. 21,000. Wow, crazy. Okay, it's always a lot of walks, so that's good. So like we said last time, and again, this is another thing to take home for all watching, but also from for sure Jeanette and you, and like a lot of, like, some people that commented. Whenever you take this intervention, we go from 1600 to 19 or whatever, even if a weight gain temporarily for like 1 week, it could be possible and it's also normal. You're retaining a lot more water. Okay, so the win is that if you only gain 1 week the weight and then you don't go up anymore, that means that it's positive. Then you can either keep going, and again, until that you keep going, you need to decide. It's like when you can easily eat 2,000 calories and you're not, and you sleep well, the energy is good and all that stuff is good, then we can stop. But if you're 2,000 calories and your sleep is crap, and again, we need to understand why it's crap. Is it like because something that happening in the sleep, or because you have drank a lot of alcohol the day before? Then it's crap for that. Or because like it's always bad, it's like a trend every single day, then it's like it might be something physiological. So I would say that's kind of like my question is like, are these things bad because things that you did for the party, or are these things bad every day? Meaning like it's still something physiological, you think?
No, it's not physiological, because as I started this journey this summer earlier, I was sleeping really well for a long time. So it's just this week my kid has been sick, so he has been interrupting me every night, and then the party in the end. So it's kind of
like,
yeah.
Then the only thing I'm telling you, basically redo the whole thing same week. Do your best to nail those macros. I'm not gonna change anything. Focus on, again, take the measurements tomorrow. Let's see what the data says, because it's always more interesting to see not what you feel, but more so what we can say for sure is like, if we were encountering hunger cravings, low energy is going to be for the sleep. So one thing is kind of like to the other. But if that's something physiological, then obviously we would probably need either to reduce some of the walking or add more calories. There is no sense of doing that right now. I think you're just supposed to keep going, and then when we have our call next time, we can see what's going on, in which point we are. But I'm saying like, you want to be getting good awareness into those things. Like, okay, now you understand basically what's going on, and what's going on is simple. It's like, this is just things from your environment that comes in, sometimes lifestyle or environment. And this thing is obviously part of, we cannot do everything perfect, but also you shouldn't think about preventing yourself from these things, like your birthday. Yeah, absolutely. And whenever something comes out, when kid is sick or something, it's important that you take care of that first. So that's good. Okay.
Yes, and I have actually, I can say I haven't gained weight during the week, but I gained some for today. This morning I had gained some, but during the week I was on the same weight. So
that's good.
Nothing happened with that.
You never did. One thing I think you might want to go back into the site and look the whole module about how to track the weight, about like actually read those, like here the thing is like, you really don't want to take the weight. Like, you using Episcale or no?
I'm using Happy Scale.
Yeah, so like take those multiples and then look at the trend. Even like go back and watch, and it's like, even look at me, like I haven't done actually for a while, but I'm gonna start doing it now. But if I'm going back, is actually outdated, but you can see, what it looks like, the trend. See when it goes up and down, and it's like, okay, what's really happening here? The weight can be a good metric, but you need to understand how to read it. And for me, look at here, just to give you some more, how do you say, some more peace of mind, if you want to call it that. Your measurements always looks fairly good all the time. I mean, this is going down, this is kind of the same, but unless we don't see, I mean, the trend is going still down. So whenever this is going down and you're eating 300, 400, 500 more calories, is a very good thing, because that means like, we're not gonna stop giving you more food until this thing stops. But secondly, mean that whenever you're gonna get into a position of eating less food, then you're gonna see changes. And again, we're still, let's say, I don't know how many, but I would say a good 8 kilos away, or maybe more. Then you need time to do that. Like we need those cycles of weight loss times. This is good. But good. I mean, keep going. Don't stress about it. Like, you're definitely on the right track. I wouldn't change anything for now. And obviously we're good to go. Any more question, or everything is clear from that?
No, thank you.
Okay, good.
I'm doing good.
Fantastic. Lamis, you want to unmute? Or you cannot talk? Hello, Lamis, are you here? So maybe she, fine now, I don't have any question. Okay, good. So you don't have any questions. So basically just keep going to the same thing that we said last time then. And for you, Lamis, obviously, as much as I said before, and to people watching this replay, stress is a huge issue. When I saw that study, I was like, wow, that's mind-blowing. I didn't think I did not think that's actually possible. Like, I didn't think that tracking stress and evaluating how this is going to impact weight loss was possible. But I'm like, yeah, sometimes we need to really to get to the yes, Jeanette, see you next time. So obviously the stress part is very important, and getting to the root cause of the stress is the most important. So much like myself, there is some good work to do. Ladies, thank you so much for your time. That's it for today. We're going to post this replay. And to all of you, again, stay in for all the innovation, because I'm definitely going to make this thing. I'm going to not only document my journey, but I'm also going to make this a possibility inside the program, and maybe a step that we do anyway. So that's even more interesting. But anyway, thank you so much. Let me know if you need any help, and I wish you all an amazing night, an amazing week. You still have a few days for the challenge. Keep posting. I go live in the middle of a week to just see whoever wants the challenge, and then again, and September is coming around. Kids going back to school, and we're gonna launch something really interesting also for people, for the client go back to school. So you're gonna be entering into a contest almost. Whoever wants, whoever is interested. Okay, Coach Jerry here. Talk to you soon. Thank you so much for taking the time. I wish you all an amazing night, and till the next time, let me know if you need help. Bye-bye. Take care.